Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm here to do my tips of the week. So today we have 7 habits of efficient people. So we all know there's a really famous book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And that's one of the good book for general people. But now we're here as a student perspective to come up with 7 habits of efficient people. So today, this week's topic is all about productivity. So here is, I don't know, I think this is a mistake. I only have 5 tips right here. It's a 7 habits. Yeah, I think I may have wasted here, but that's okay. So the first one is 5-second rules. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count 5 in your mind, and then after 5, you just do that thing. Sometimes it happens when you sleep for too long and you doesn't want to wake up. You don't want to wake up. By the time, try to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just do the action. And the reason why we can do this because we have procrastination, recent excuses for procrastination. By doing that, we will shorten your time of active thinking. So you can just do it first. Same thing happened to me related to this situation is to do a YouTube videos straight for maybe 10 or 20 minutes is really hard. I was thinking to think about the content first. I know I'm going to make mistake for sure. And I just started no matter what. After counting 5, I allowed myself to have some mistake. And then, I will improve day by day. Something like this is good for you to wake up in the morning, or sometimes you want to have a walk, but you just passing time, you didn't have a walk for like hours. Or sometimes you want to go to gym or taking care of the family, start calling your family, something like that. You just need to have this 5-second rules to make it work. And this is the first step. So the second tips is work before you get motivated. So like it's really similar to the previous one, 5-second rule. It's hard to start something if something is really difficult to start. So to start, no matter what, it will pick up straight ahead for anything that in your brain. It's like a neural pathway that's often be used in your brain. For example, you start algorithm problem. So we pick up what you remember for algorithm in your mind. And then if you move forward, it will add the connection automatically to the pathway. So after you started, have the foundation, the previous connection built up right away, to start a new connection based on the pathway is easier. Hopefully that explained well. So if you have a hard test, just start early until you get motivated. And the third one is avoid a distraction. Distraction to me is like something around you in your workplace. So something like a cup or extra pencil or your phone for sure near your desk is really distracting. So usually when I start working, I will clean up everything. You don't need to put it in place, but you just put everything else not related to your work down the floor. Put that down the floor instead of the table, so you won't see or touch it. Something like that will minimize your risk of getting distracted. So that's this point is tip 3. So for tip 4 is something that I found out later is really, really important. So some people say multitasking is a sign of intelligent people, but actually it's not true. There's 2 ways. because most of the student or software engineer, anything related to software, they use your brain hardly and most of the time, like maybe more than 50% of time during the task. You can multitask when it relates to physical strain, like doing two things, like physical things in the same time. But when you do critical thinking, it's impossible to do it. It's just studies say multitask clearly decrease the quality of your work and fuels the existing difficulty you have with concentration, organization, and attention to detail. So the longer time that you use multitasking during the active thinking or critical thinking task might damage your brain or slow you down in different area of your brain. In the long term, will also decrease your motivation, concentration, and creativities. So it's a really bad idea if you're a student or a software engineer that do multitasking daily. So this thing that I strongly not recommending. For example, you have a habit of making software, doing a project in the same time, listen to some like pop music, something like that. It's not recommended, even though it can be played in the background, but actively will distract you somewhere in your brain. If you're doing something like multitasking in your thought by making a project in the same time, listen to a talk show. So it's really, really hard. It will lower and decrease the qualities so much for your work. So it's not recommended. Another thing is also related to critical thinking, which is make fewer decisions during the day and your routine, because making decision is active thinking. So active thinking usually drain your battery, your mental battery. So that thing will slow you down, or because your amount of energy in the day is certain. Maybe people have really energetic or healthy body, they might have like this much of energy to use. But usually for a person, you only have that much of energy to burn. So you should put the energy focus on the task instead of making decision where to go. Yeah, this process is slow and energy hungry for brain power. But one of the tips for this category is you can make a really small note for that task, and you can start right away by instead of making decision which task you should do or how to start or the detail of the task. Since you have a bare bone of the routine, then you can just follow along after that. The reason why for this productivity tips is most of the people don't know we have two ways of thinking in our system. So one thinking is there's a called system one thinking. It's like when you see something, you automatically come up some result or conclusion. For example, you see a homeless, you think about dangers, you think about poor. This kind of thinking is almost instant and automatically that built into your brain. So this is not active thinking, is a passive thinking. So that doesn't drain your battery. You don't need to have any brain power to think about something. But another one is called active thinking. So it's system two. So your brain will go down to the data inside your brain to try to have active thinking and have logical thinking based on the knowledge that you know to come up a conclusion. So the brain is go down to what statement you have to try to make a logical conclusion. So the way to find out that conclusion is really, really slow and time consumptive. It's really draining your battery. So one of the example is when you walk. So usually when you walk, you think some small things really easy. When you talk and you have regular communication, you can easily do it. But certainly when something really hard and difficult, the people who ask you what is 24 times 40.3, something like that, that require you to have active thinking or system 2 thinking, then your walking will stop at that time. So that active thinking is draining a battery that you can't even move at that moment. So something like that is an example of why we have to slow down, eliminating multitasking to cherish your brain power for the main task. I think I just talked too much. Yeah, this is the tips of this week, and hopefully you get something out of it. So if you have any question or comment, please leave it in the comment section, and hopefully I can improve after this week. So after that, I'll see you next week. Bye.